Generally, the athletes are fairly tall, Phil, and lean here. And for you viewers at home, one of the big exceptions will be in this race. The hurdles are 2.5 feet high, and there's the exception I meant. That is from the United States, Shawanda Williams. She's only 5 feet tall. Lane 4 that you just looked at, that's Latanya Sheffield. She attends San Diego State University. Nawal El Mutawakil was just passed by the camera out in lane 6. You're seeing Sandra Farmer from Jamaica, who has run very well this year. She's been very consistent, first or second in the invitational races. Out in lane 7, that's Nicoleta Caratasu from Romania. They wear the blue and white colors. On the outside, the green colors of the country of Nigeria, and that is Maria Yusufo, who attends Texas Southern. She's on the outside.
East Germany's Sabine Busch is not running in this event, and boy, has she had a tremendous year. Certainly the odds-on favorite to win at the Worlds.
The Olympic champion is in lane 5. Shawanda Williams is in 3. And American Sheffield is in 4. Watch lanes 3, 4, and 5 in the center of the track. Keep your eye and see who's over the hurdle first to lead.
A good start for Nawal El Mutawakil. She won in Rome at the Grand Prix just a month ago. It is Latanya Sheffield, the former American record holder, the gold medalist at the Olympic Festival.
That's Mutawakil on her right, trying to match strides with her right now, the shorter woman from Morocco. What's key here is you've got to get your steps down all the way across. If you start mincing them, you run into trouble, particularly in the latter stages of the race. Mutawakil running well.
And on the outside, making a move is Shawanda Williams. Steady improvement this year. She has run her personal best here in 1987. And Sandra Farmer of Jamaica. It is Sandra Farmer continuing to pour it on. And Shawanda Williams of the United States takes second, followed by Nigeria's Maria Yusufo.
I think El Mutawakil just eased up a bit at the tape, and that was the reason she did not get third place. As Dave Patrick from the United States comes over and gives a little bust to the winner, Sandra Farmer from Jamaica. Now watch here. Mutawakil, watch what I talked about just missing your steps. If you're 6 to 8 inches off as you approach the hurdles, it really makes a big difference down the straightaway. Watch them power along. It's also wise to go out and not run the first 200 meters of the hurdles too fast. Sandra Farmer ran a very even race. Watch. She comes up and takes the lead here as 3 of the 5 runners had to mince strides coming up over that next to last hurdle. Watch her again. Farmer begins to power away. Williams begins to lose ground. El Mutawakil in the red and white is struggling along. And watch on the outside. There's green. I think she gets right up there for third. Close.
And the women's 400-meter hurdles, Shawanda Williams takes second. Maria Yusufo of Nigeria finished third.
It'll do Williams well to try and make it into the finals. It is a very strong Soviet contingent in Soviet bloc that will run the 400-meter intermediate hurdles. As you look at a man who runs for Tyson Foods, that is Michael Conley, ranked #1 in the world at the triple jump last year. He's been out over 58 feet in 1986.
Yeah, and it's amazing, Larry, that he is really the only American in the last couple of years to consistently jump at that 58-foot level.
Well, it's been done, and the world record is held by another American, Willie Banks, who's here tonight, as you hear the rhythmic applause begin in the background. Something that was begun by Willie Banks here in the European circuit several years ago. A pressure jumper, a man who loves to come from behind. He said to me once several years ago, Larry, I trained for my last jump.
This is his third jump. Oh, good takeoff for Conley, and he is out. Probably out over, I would say, 54, maybe the 55-foot mark.
That should be a standard for him to hit on every jump. When I said he trains for the last jump, I meant to come from behind and for the pressure that brings out the best in an athlete. Watch him. This should be like a flat stone ricocheting over the surface of a smooth pond. The runner bounds smoothly with the same low trajectory as the stone. Watch him. You don't rise too much, but you glide. Great shot of the toe board there. He has an extra few inches that he probably could have used. You have to land on the same leg you take off, then you transfer to the right leg. Watch him reach with his arms and extend himself in a U-shaped fashion. Good jump by Conley, a very fine technician. That's his jump. That has moved him into the lead. 55, 7 3/4. Olympic gold medalist, Al Joyner.
Jackie Joyner, Kersey's brother, Al Joyner, 27 years of age, and boy, look at him fly down that runway.
I didn't think that his hop, his first phase, was very good. It looked like a short hop that he had. He actually, after he won the gold medal, switched off, and he seems to be limping just a bit. That's a good catch on that, Phil. And he switched off and started working on the hurdles and other events with the possibility of becoming a decathlete, but is now back focused on the triple jump.
Well, for a triple jumper, Laird, that normally gets tremendous height on his jump, he did not seem to get up that high here tonight.
No, he has been out over 57 feet and won the games with a jump of 56. That's only a 53.5½ jump. You know what you don't know is when they arrived here. Maybe they're still sluggish if they've just come over here for the last couple of weeks prior to the World Championships.
And here is the world record holder in the triple jump at 58 feet, 11.5 inches, Willie Banks. He set that record some 2 years ago. And you know, Larry, since establishing that world mark, Willie has not come real close to extending his own world mark.
Well, that's true, and he was very upset with his performance in the Olympic Games, and he went to Coach Chuck Debus out there and got in a training program. He said that was 40% harder than anything he'd ever done. And at 31, he's still trying to become world class this year again. Good jump, not a bad jump.
But nowhere near his world record. Has the sun set, in your opinion, on Willie Banks?
No, I don't think necessarily. This is a technical event. Technical events, an athlete has a longer lifespan than simply a speed event like the 100 meters. This man has been the father in many ways of the charisma that this event has brought. Watch his reach. Watch him extend. First Olympic title went in just under 55 feet. They've now added another 10 feet to what used to be called the hop, step, and jump.
Americans traditionally finish strong in the triple jump, and you see why. Conley, Robert Cannon, and Willie Banks, a trio of United States triple jumpers, are on the victory platform here this evening. Don't you dare go away. The Belt Classic continues. We'll be back with the men's 400-meter hurdles in a moment. After that, Moses won 107 straight finals, covering a period of 9 years, 9 months, and 9 days. The man who ended Moses' streak is in lane 4, Danny Harris. Amadou Jabba of Senegal is also certainly a man to watch. In lane 1, it is the Greek, Thanasis Kalogiannis. He ran in the Olympic Games in Los Angeles at the tender age of 18. He is wearing number 251.
Number 255 in lane 2, that's Trinell Hawkins of the United States, a 1984 Olympic finalist. And in the blue and yellow that you saw in the singlet shorts, that is Harold Schmidt. He will be in lane 3. He'll be able to watch that man, Danny Harris, who will be running in lane 4. The advantage there goes to Schmidt. He knows exactly what Harris is going to do. You're looking at Amadou Jabba, who trains much of the time in France and is a native of Senegal. All of the men in this race, except Kalogiannis, has run under 49 seconds for this distance. There is Dave Patrick, a member of our world team, who will be competing in Rome, and a very fine world-ranked top 10 400-meter intermediate hurdler. Henry Amiki on his outside. That is Amiki in green. 5 of the top 10 in the world are in this race.
A good start in the 400 meters, and oh, what a start for Danny Harris. A tremendous start. It is Harris over the first hurdle first. And he is running away from the field at this point.
That is Harris in lane 4. Now watch, Schmidt is on his inside in the yellow shorts. You can keep an eye on him. Notice how he has made up the stagger on the people on the outside. Harris running on strength and confidence. A typical Harris race. Here comes Schmidt, though. Watch.
It is Schmidt on the extreme right, and he is coming on in lane number 4.
Three hurdles have been hit in a row by Harris.
And look at Harold Schmidt at the age of 29, the West German. A tremendous margin of victory here in Zurich. His unofficial time, 47 and 8800 seconds in the 400-meter hurdles.
Phil, that should be a casebook study on videotape of how to run the 400 meters. He went out comfortably. He didn't force the pace, and you could see him in the backstretch. I could see him start to gain on Danny Harris. That was a hard hit of the hurdle by Harris. He even turned his body around slightly. Look at him begin to make up ground. They go over the hurdle almost together. Poor Danny Harris is off stride right now, and you must keep an even rhythm between hurdles to approach them without breaking stride. Look at the power of a man who runs a great 800 meters, Harold Schmidt, showing the strength down the home stretch when he only runs half that distance. Easy victory, beautifully paced race, and there you see Jabba getting up to take second from a struggling Danny Harris.
Harold Schmidt, the bronze medalist in Los Angeles, loaded out of the blocks, finishes third. Well, for Harold Schmidt, the 29-year-old, it was a well-run race, but you have to wonder, was Schmidt impressed with the pace Harris set early? Brazil, he will start in lane 2. Also keep your eyes on lane 4, Kenya's Billy Concella.
Deep talent here. We have the number 6, 4, and 5 ranked athletes in the world right there. There you see Sam Koskai out in lane 7. There's actually going to be 2 people in lane 7, 2 in lane 8 because of the crowded field. These athletes at 800 meters can handle that. Obviously, in the dashes, you don't do it. There you see out in lane 5, that is William Weike from Venezuela. Lane 6 will have Gerd Gilbert from Switzerland. Lane 7 will be occupied by 2 men, as I mentioned. Sam Koskai there in the red color, and Alex Giesenbauer of Switzerland will be in lane 7 with him. Number 151 from West Germany is Peter Braun, and number 155, a very fine runner, Peter Elliott from Great Britain.
Elliott will be the rabbit in the 800 meters. The runners to their marks. In lane 4, Billy Concella. He has the fastest time in the world this year.
That is Concella, by the way, just hanging back, almost like Eamon Coughlin does indoors and lets everybody else set the pace. They're going out very fast. James Mays has been the designated rabbit over here in Europe for many major races for the last 4 years. That is he in the lead. Texas A&M graduate, a 145 800-meter runner. He's more in shape for running, let's say, 148, but he works out a deal financially with the race director to tow these people along. He generally runs about a lap and a half and then steps off the track. And his job is to try and tow the field through an even pace, but obviously here he has gotten a little ahead of the competition. Mays in the lead, that is in blue shorts, that is Josa Luis Barbosa from Brazil, who trains up in Eugene, Oregon, and goes to Lane Community College in second. William Weike is in third and wearing all white. Concella is back up in the hunt right now.
Look at the rhythmic applause of this capacity crowd. Boy, you'd love to see that happen in the United States. It is Barbosa in second place, and oh, look at Concella coming up on the outside.
Mays steps off the track. It's Concella taking right over. That's Weike now moving into second place.
Concella. Best time this year for Billy, 1:45.92. He is one of 3 Kenyans participating in this year's Weltklasse.
50.5 for the body of the runners going by 400 meters as they come down the home stretch with about 80 meters to go.
It is Billy Concella. He is beginning to lengthen that lead, and Francis Philippe Collard is running second. Sammy Kuski of Kenya looks as if he may clip third, and he does.
1:43.39, unofficial time. Look at how easy. Look at him just kind of glide along. That is the fastest time run in the world for 800 meters this year. And look at him. I can't believe this. He just walks over as though he went around for a stroll in the park. You've just seen a man run faster than any other human being in the world this year, and he's signing autographs within 15 seconds.
Billy Concella, one of 13 Kenyans who came to Zurich, Switzerland. Only 3 were invited. 2 of the 3 finish in the top 3 in this race.
Watch Koskai try and get up and pass 4 people. Look at the arm action, the smooth movement, and the speed with which he pulls away from the rest of the field. Concella finished 4th in the Olympics, missed a medal by 0.2 of a second, and look at the margin of victory. Boy, what a performance. He is ready. He knows how to peak for the major events. The World Championships are a week away.
20 runners this year alone, Larry, in this event have had times of 1:46 or better. It has been a tremendous year for the 800 meters.
One of the keys, Phil, is people like Concella are going out fast.
Yes.
They're running the first 400 meters faster than they've ever done. And this all started about 4 or 5 years ago with Johnny Gray, Earl Jones, and in some cases Sebastian Coe also instituted that. But they never used to go out that fast. It was always a 53-second first 400 meters.
Well, there's the fastest time in the world in 1987 right there. 1:43.39 belongs to Kenya's Billy Concella. Philippe Collard of France finishes second. Kenya's Sammy Kuski takes third. Well, with the position of the field, Concella, she clears it.
She has had a fine recovery from surgery a little over a year ago. She's been injured. She has been America's most consistent high jumper, an Olympic finalist from Texas Women's University. Let's watch her. Watch her approach. She'll circle to the bar, accelerate, begin that left foot plant, and begin to rotate her body up, lay out over the bar. She sticks her right hand out there for guidance. 6 feet, 7.5 inches. Only 4 women in history have ever jumped higher than Louise Ritter.
And she has beaten the world record holder already once this year. Here is Ritter, her second attempt at a new American record, 6'8½". Can she clear it?
She's got it. She has got it. Up in the air, there's Louise Ritter, 6'8½".
Oh, the bar has fallen. Larry, that bar had to fall some 6 or 7 seconds after she cleared it.
Well, she walks over to talk to Jimmy Howard. That's Howard, the American high jumper, American record holder outdoors, and I guess that's a conference going on right there with the officials.
I have to believe her joy jumping up.
Hello once again, everyone. John Saunders.
Stefka Kostadinova finishes second, and Sylvia Costa of Cuba takes third.
That's only the second time that Kostadinova has lost in 2 years of competition, as she heads up close to 7 feet for the women. The men are closing in on 8 feet in the high jump.
Teammate Gail Devers in lane 3, and Canada's Angela Isayenko in lane 4. In lane 5, it is Alice Brown of the United States. Boy, what a tremendous contingent in lanes 2 through 5, Larry Rawson.
We haven't even highlighted in lane 7 Gwen Torrance, who's the NCAA champion and a top sprinter in her own right. There you see in lane 1, that is Sheila Eccles. We have just a very fine field here. In lane, that was Devers that you see in the red, and next to her, that's in lane 4, that's Angela Isayenko, who is the world indoor record holder at 50 meters, half this distance. There you see number 54, Alice Brown, the Olympic silver medalist, and she is in lane 5. Juliet Cuthbert, who trained in the United States, is from Jamaica, is wearing the gold. And right there, number 60 on your screen is Gwen Torrance. Number 42 that you're looking at is Angela Bailey from Canada. She will occupy the outside on lane 8. Ideally, you want to have other athletes around you. You don't want to be in lane 1 or lane 8. You're kind of outside of it. Hazley Crawford won the Olympic title in 1976 from the outside lane, but it's very hard to do. Isayenko in lane 4 is surrounded by talent. Alice Brown has a great start. So does an Isayenko. Let's see if they get out well. Watch lanes 2 through 5.
Alice Brown in lane 5 with a terrific start, and she is being pursued by Gail Devers. And here comes Canada's Angela Isayenko. In the purple, it is Isayenko who runs to victory tonight.
Phil, I think it was Devers that got up for second, and I am not sure about third. I will just wait. But Isayenko, look at her now. Ben Johnson looks like she does. The same type of powerful back. They must lift a lot of weights up there. Johnson is also a Canadian. She has the same physical, powerful structure, upper body. She got left in the blocks. Look at how far back she is in purple. You can't see her right now. She is out of it by a good step and a half that she has to make up on an Olympic silver medalist who is off to her right. In the red and white in the center of the track is Alice Brown, out well. In the gold, it's Devers. Look at them in Isayenko with fine form. Look at the arm carriage straight up and down. Just carry her on to victory here at the Weltklasse meet. Watch the lean at the tape. You youngsters at home who are running, lean. That's it. Just as Isayenko did. It can be the difference between first and third sometimes. Close finish. It looks like gold up there. For third, that could be Juliet Cuthbert. Would have to wait for the official time. 11 3/100ths of a second, Phil. Good time.
Well, some believe that young lady right there, Angela Isayenko of Canada, will be the one to watch next week at the World Championships in Rome. Gail Devers finishes second. Alice Brown and Juliet Cuthbert of Jamaica tie for third.
To
the world record belonging to Lee Evans set in 1968. And if you're looking for talent, it is a talent-rich field. Danny Everett in lane 2 from the United States. Nigeria's Innocent Egbunike, certainly one of the favorites in tonight's race. Bert Cameron of Jamaica will start in lane 6.
Phil, the women ran the equivalent of a 4:21 mile, and they were fast, and these men are going to average almost 10 seconds per 100-yard dash. They're going to run 4.5 times the length of a football field, and they're going to carry that 10-second 100-yard speed the entire distance. Number 131, Innocent Egbunike, number 2 ranked in the world last year. This is a sensational field. We're going to have very quick people out here. This is an event that the world is improving on. Some events in track and field stay in a particular place for years, don't improve much, and then they start improving again. This one is on the move. Lane 5 that you just saw out there will have Roberto Hernandez of Cuba. Lane 6, Bert Cameron, formerly number 1 ranked in the world many times. Lane 7
is Derek Redmond of Great Britain. And in lane 8, it is Michael Franks, and it is a good start here in the men's 400 meters.
There goes
Egbunike.
Boy, look at him fly. He's in the blue. Look at Egbunike move. A former 100-meter, 200-meter star. He's got the speed to bring to this longer distance. He's made up the stagger already on another great runner who's right beside him out in lane 4. That's Ray Pierre, formerly a Baylor. Look at him go.
Innocent Egbunike running step for step, and coming up now is Great Britain's Derek Redmond, who started in lane 7. It is Egbunike and Redmond. And just look at them as they come to the wire here. It is Innocent Egbunike and lane 3.
Oh, I can't believe this margin of victory. Look at this. 44:16. If that stands up as a time, is the second fastest performer ever at sea level. Now, they can look up on a clock and see what their time is. The Swiss have very sophisticated timing devices here, just as they're known for their watches. And only Butch Reynolds of Ohio State has run faster at sea level. The world best is done at altitude 20 years ago, and it was 43 and 86/100ths of a second. And look at Egbunike just move along. These are some of the very best 400-meter runners in the world. 2 of them are top 10 ranked. Roddy Haley in lane 1 and Bert Cameron, who is in 6. Look at that finish. Woo.
And to think, Larry, just 3 years ago, the winner of the men's 400 meters, Innocent Egbunike, was a sprinter.
That's true. He came over from Nigeria, was a good runner over there. They gave him a scholarship at Azusa Pacific College in California, and that began a connection with other Nigerian athletes that have come over to compete here. Look at the good close-up. Look at the concentration looking straight ahead. The arm carriage and the pump gets more severe the closer you get to the home stretch. The pain is intense right now, and the focus is just as equally intense.
Used to be a time not long ago when a 44.5 will-do mentality would get you to the top of the medal stand. Not so anymore. Egbunike with a time of 44.17.
Derek Redmond took second, and UCLA's coming star, Danny Everett, took third. 44 and 73/100ths of a second.
Egbunike, the winner, is he ready for the World Championships in Rome?
I feel ready mentally, physically and spiritually. I think this is my year by God's grace. So I've trained real hard. I've thrown up in practice. I've almost collapsed in practice. So I really know that, no pain, no gain. I want to hurt for the Lord, and that's what I'm doing this year.
Coming up next here in Zurich tonight, Ben Johnson is in lane 3. Calvin Smith of the United States in lane 4, Stanley Floyd of the U.S. in lane 5, and Raymond Stewart of Jamaica in lane 6.
Chidi Emu was one of the stars of the European season last year, has not run quite as well this year. Bruno Marie Rose is his name, from France, and he is a top 10 performer. He's all of 6'4", Phil, 183 pounds, and he's among the fastest in the world. As you look there at the red countenance singlet of Mr. Calvin Smith, and next to him is Ben Johnson chewing the gum. 5'10 and a half, 165 pounds of sheer muscle and power. Stanley Floyd, number 17, NCAA champion, 1982. Went and tried his hand in pro athletics and came back to track and field.
He wanted to return punts for a while, never got a chance at it. In lane 6, Chidi Imo, last year ranked number 2 in the world behind Canada's Ben Johnson.
He attended Missouri, the University of Missouri. Many of these foreign athletes have been trained in America. Ray Stewart has been also.
You mentioned at the outset of our telecast, Larry, you thought perhaps a world record might be set tonight.
Watch Johnson start in lane 3.
Great start for Ben Johnson. Calvin Smith right on his shoulder is running second. Ben Johnson. And just look at that fluid stride. It is Johnson, the winner tonight. Calvin Smith finishes second. I believe it was Jamaica's Raymond Stewart taking third.
What a start. I mean, what a start. I mean, Calvin Smith hung on for second, but he was a good 3.5 feet behind at the finish line. He is a notoriously bad starter. I didn't have time to say that, and I wanted to lay out before the start. Watch the two of them in red and white in lanes 3 and 4. Look at how quickly he is out. Look how he leaves Calvin in the blocks. And Johnson is so explosive and strong, and he gets out, uses his arms well. Look how much he pumps his arms and motors down that stretch. He has virtually no flaws. Watch, I noticed in the race, watch how in the red, Smith closes slightly on him at the finish. Lewis doesn't have the best top speed in the last 20 meters, and it might be where a Carl Lewis can catch him. Notice the closing on him a little bit. Stewart is closing on him a little bit too, but boy, his rest of his race is so complete. He ran into a 3-mile-per-hour headwind as well and still ran under 10 seconds. I mean, that might be, if you eliminated that wind, the fastest time ever run, if you could do that. Just to give you an idea of the quality of what we have just seen. Let's just watch this action in close-up. Catch the intensity. You can see the effort to relax still flutter the cheeks, the focus down the track, and yet you're running at 99% of total speed. You do not run the 100 all out for the entire distance. You ease back ever so slightly to just relax the body. Notice the lean at the tape, something you have to do.
The only way to describe Ben Johnson's start out of the blocks tonight, explosive. Add to that, incredible acceleration, and that produced the winner here tonight. Ben Johnson, a time of 9.97.
20 times since 1984, he has been under 10:10 in the 100 meters. The bronze medalist at the Games, Lewis, hasn't beaten him since 1985.
And you wonder, perhaps, would Johnson have recorded a world record without that headwind? Let's find out.
That group of runners, and 1:50.179, tremendous 800-meter time. And look at these guys continue to forge on as the race directors have set up this race to try and see if Bealey can come close to 350 or get under, which would be a great accomplishment for a collegian.
It is Ray Brown and Ken Washington of the United States, the designated rabbits. Running third is Atlee Mahorn, two-time NCAA champ on the 1,500 meters and the mile, followed by Austria's Mike Hillard and Switzerland's own Peter Wirtz. He is wearing number 209. It is number 175, Ken Washington. On his heels is Ray Brown and Atlee Mahorn, and there is Hillard. Number 207 is Chuck Aragon of the United States.
Coming up and closing in on the 3/4 mile mark, a great leg run by Washington. I mean, this guy's come out of nowhere to be a good runner this year, and he hangs on for a 2:52 for the 3/4 of a mile. Great 3/4. There's Marcus O'Sullivan in the black shorts and the white singlet from Ireland, who went to Villanova, trying to move up now. He likes to kick, and he laid back off the hot early pace that Bealey put himself through. So there you see everybody start to move up. That's John Gladwin right now on the left of your screen trying to gain on Bealey. You're looking at the second pack. It is Atlee Mahorn out in front right now from Somalia.
John Gladwin of Great Britain running smoothly in second, and Marcus O'Sullivan, another in a long line of great Irish milers, is running third. Ray Flynn, another Irish miler, is up there in the front four.
Here comes O'Sullivan in the back wearing the white top, and it's now Bealey. Is he suffering from the heat? Can he hold on from the pace? It's Gladwin trying to close.
But it will be Atlee Mahorn, 24-year-old Somalian, a good runner with a fine kick, who captures the men's mile this evening in Zurich, Switzerland. For the milers tonight, he is the victory. Clears 7'7" in his second try. Matai of Romania, his personal best this year, 7'7 1/4.
not tall as some of these high jumpers go. Most are 6'5", 6'6". Watch him angle to the bar. He cuts it closer. He doesn't take quite the U-shape many of them do. Lays out nicely. Good plan. At 7'7", look at him lay out. Get the legs up. At 7'7", the margin for error for you youngsters out there want to be good high jumpers is no more than 5 or 6 inches that your plant can be off after you run 65 feet.
Here is Sweden's Patrick Jobert. Just a couple of months ago here on ESPN at the DN Galan Games, this man set a world record. His attempt at 7'8", and his first attempt, he nudges the bar, but it stays. Now, Louise Ritter would have given anything to have that bar stay a few moments ago. Jobert, the 1984 Olympic Games silver medalist.
Show you the difference in the speed that they bring to the bar. The higher up it goes. Good layout with his arms. He just uses his arms to pull back in to get his legs up and over the bar. The flop style began almost 20 years ago with Dick Fosbury perfecting it, and many high jumpers began achieving 7 feet more quickly as the result.
Here is Jobert again, his third and final attempt at 7'10½". Some 24,000 begin to applause, that rhythmic applause that is unique to the European track and field circuit.
Joberg has cleared 7 feet 11¼ inches. Isn't it? It's just amazing to think that a person can jump almost 8 feet.
Got it with his hips on the way down.
100 years ago to the world record indoors was 6'4", and now we're up to 7'11", as Jobert thanks the Swiss crowd for their support.
Now there'll be no new world mark in Zurich, Switzerland.
Watch him pull back his arms as he lays out over the bar. Some Americans don't do that. Lays out, get the arms back, and that helps rotate your hips and lifts the lower half of your body, but not well enough tonight. As his plant
wins the men's high jump tonight, Sorin Matai of Romania takes second. Thomas McCants of the United States, jumping in some tough company tonight. The former Alabama student walks away with third.
Turtle race, they jumped over sheep barriers.
The world record belonging to Skeets. It has stood for the past 6 years. Keep your eyes on lane number 4, Greg Foster. Lane 7, Canada's Mark McCoy. And in lane 8, America's Tony Campbell.
If you want to have a little fun, we've cited the best, but watch in lane 5, Ron Woodson, because he told the Pittsburgh Steelers, "I'll see you later." Took off for Europe, and he was their #1 draft choice, and they're not too happy with Mr. Woodson right now.
No Edwin Moses. He is in Europe. He is not in Zurich.
Well, you mentioned Edwin. This was an event. He was ranked among the top 10 in the world at one time, the 110-meter high hurdles, and then he went on to focus on the 400-meter intermediates and has done well at that event ever since. There's Jonathan Ridgen, probably the best European on a consistency basis. Number 85, a rising American star from Florida. That is Arthur Blake. Greg Foster needs no introduction. Olympic silver medalist missed the goal by a lean at the tape. Ron Woodson, hope he's having the time of his life because the Pittsburgh Steelers are not happy. Cletus Clark will be in lane 6. There's Mark McCoy from Canada, who had a collision at the World Indoor Championships and went down when he collided with Greg Foster. Tony Campbell is occupying lane 8. Watch McCoy. He gets out very quickly in lane 7. He is a brilliant starter. If he is to win, he has to try and get a lead over Foster. If Greg gets behind, he tends to press a little bit and sometimes crashes the hurdles, which accounts for quite a few no finishes in this race.
Greg Foster in the yellow, and he gets out of the blocks in a hurry, as does Mark McCoy of Canada. It is Foster and McCoy, and now Greg Foster really pours it on. Foster in the bright yellow with yellow sneaks is across the finish line.
Tony Campbell did something that surprised me. He got up and he just kind of blew right by McCoy Campbell is running very, very well right now.
Unofficially, his time, 13 and 3/400 seconds. And just take a look at the explosive start of Greg Foster.
Foster comes out of the block well, 6'3", 190 pounds, and he can match speed with some of the best in the world. Watch him, and it is McCoy out first. Notice you can tell where they wear those gold Adidas who's over the hurdle first. Watch them plant the foot down. You stay airborne as little a period of time as you can. Foster now getting into his rhythm. Notice he's fine. He's just clicking away from those hurdles. Woodson's beginning to fall back. He's hitting the hurdles here. And it is Foster. Here comes McCoy a bit. Tony Campbell on the outside far left is gaining ground most quickly. Watch the lean at the temp. Hurdlers are great for the lean. Americans have done very well at this event in the world competition. Look at Campbell leaning already. And he nails down second. McCoy, I think, gets third. 13:36 compares favorably with a 13:19, which is the best time in the year set by Foster earlier. He had just a hint of wind at his back.
Doesn't seem all that long ago, Larry, that man right there in the yellow was running in the shadow of Skeets Nehemiah. I would assume here in the summer of '87, it is safe to say that he has finally exorcised Skeets' ghost.
Well, let's see what happens when Skeets comes back from surgery, but certainly look at this brilliant photography here. Good lean by Foster. I really respect the guy's hairline, too. I think that's great. Greg Foster winning here. Tony Campbell Well, his brother introduced him to track and field. His brother was in the athletics, as it's called over there. This is track and field's version of Superman, as far as I'm concerned. He has the speed to be among the 10 fastest Russians at 100 meters. He's been invited to train with their sprint team. He carries a pole down the runway almost as fast as long jumpers go down without a pole, and that pole's 17 feet long. This is 19 feet, 4 1/4.
Oh, and he is over it by a bundle. Larry, had that bar been up another 9 or 10 inches, he would have cleared that with ease.
Oh, just amazing. The key ingredient in many field events is speed. Triple jumping, long jumping. Why is Carl Lewis so great a long jumper? Because he's so fast. This man brings speed to this event. The higher you hold in the pole, the more speed you need to control the pole and also to bend it up to 120 degrees. Watch the flex. He rides the pole. He lets it begin to pull him back up. The legs perpendicular. He begins to turn his body, go upside down, release the pole, and come down from 2 stories above the ground on his back.
He was only 5 inches from a world record there, and he cleared that bar by more than 5 inches. Over cleanly at 19.4 1/2.
Interestingly enough, Phil, he uses American poles and has for 4 years. Notice the rock back. Brilliant form, perpendicular to the bar. They don't come much finer than that particular jump. Look at this. Boy, that is textbook stuff by the best in the business.
Bubka in 4. The acceleration is there. Look at the speed down the runway.
The world 19 feet 1/2 inch, finishing 5th in the competition. Mike Tully from the United States, 18.4 1/2. 6th was Doug Fraley at the same height, and back was Earl Bell struggling.
Tonight, all eyes will be on America's threesome of Pam Marshall, Valerie Briscoe, and Gwen Torrance.
Lily Leatherwood in lane 7 will be running the 400 meters for America at the World Championship. She's dropping down to work on her speed. Briscoe Hooks, trying to get back in shape after missing our team here at the World Championships, will be in lane 5.
Marlene Audie is in lane 6. She will be wearing number 50. She has the 4th fastest time in the 200 meters this year.
The best time coming in to this competition, as you look at Pam Marshall in blue from the United States, 21:99 by Silke Gladish of East Germany is the fastest time in the world run this year. Almost 22 seconds, just a hair under it. As you look right there at Marlene Audie from Jamaica, who attended school here in the United States. Married to Nat Page. There is Lily Leatherwood. Wearing the colors of Reebok, as many of them are wearing their athletic uniforms of the clubs they run for. Gwen Torrance, fresh off her race at the 100 meters, now steps up to the 200 meters. Briscoe is in lane 5. Audie is in 6. Marshall is in 4.
It is a good start. Pam Marshall in lane 4, being chased by Valerie Briscoe and Merlene Audie.
That is in the gold colors. That is Briscoe in the middle. She is wearing yellow. On the outside of her is Merlene Audie, and that's Pam
look
Marshall.
At Pam Marshall coming on in lane 4. Pam Marshall in the royal blue is running away from the field here in the women's 200 meters. Finishing second, Merlene Audie of Jamaica, and Valerie Briscoe, a surprise as she drops to third.
22:43 is probably not going to be a very satisfying time for Briscoe Hook. She went out almost that fast at our TAC championships at 400 meters. And she should be a little quicker than this unless she just got here from the United States. Look at Audie, the tall, lean, 6-foot woman here who runs the straightaway so well, but also almost that tall and equally fit. In blue is Pam Marshall, who will be running the 200 meters this distance for the Americans at the World Championship. She holds on and holds her form well. Very fit. She leans and dips at the finish. Those three prove to be the class of the field, Phil.
And Larry, what a place for Pam Marshall to blend her skills in the 100 and 400 meter talents as she runs the victory here in the 200 meters. I'll tell you, when Pam Marshall is healthy, she just burns the straightaways.
5 feet 10, 140 pounds. 27-year-old woman is right now in the peak condition of her career.
All 4 Americans finish in the top 5. Pam Marshall right there is the winner. Merlene Audie of Jamaica takes second. And then it is a trio of American ladies. Valerie Briscoe takes third, Gwen Torrance fourth, and Lily Leatherwood finished fifth.
Her time, Phil, 22 and 6/100ths of a second, is the second fastest in the world this year, and she ran into a slight headwind.
Less than.
3 of the 5 fastest milers in the world, ranked by Track and Field News last year, are in this race. Steve Cram, Jose Luis Gonzalez, and Steve Scott.
And look at the rabbit. How long has it been since we have seen the smooth strides of Johnny Gray in the rabbit's position?
Gray, I ran into in California about 2 weeks ago, and he said, when I go to Europe, I'm going to run the Weltklasse meet, but to build my stamina for the World Championships, I'm going to be the pacer for the 1,500 meters, and I'm going to run 1,200 meters, I hope, around 2 minutes and 50 seconds.
Larry, I would assume that the people who participate in the 1,500 meter event, the length of their stride, an average of 7 to 7.5 feet. Johnny Gray has to be way beyond that stride.
Gray's stride at an 800 meter race is out around 9 feet per step.
Kidding.
No, it really is. It's 9 feet or so per step. That's over. It's just 3 yards. If you want to pace it off. You take a large step when you're walking, you're at 1 yard. All right, let's get up on this thing. That's Gray up in the lead. 57, almost 58 seconds for 800 meter, for 400 meters. That's a little slow, and that looks to me like Steve Cram in second place. Jose Luis Gonzalez wears all yellow from Spain is in third. Marcus, I think that's Marcus Hacksteiner, back in fourth place. Let's see if we can get a better view of them here. There is Gray coming by. That is Cram in second, and that is Jose Luis Gonzalez in third. Gonzalez ranked 5th in the world last year. Jim Spivey is wearing the red and the white singlet that you see on the left of the camera right there. We should try and keep an eye on the man on the far left-hand side in the back there wearing white. That is Mike Boyd running next to last right there. That's Boyd on the left of your screen. He's 38 years of age and has run 3:56 for the mile this year. Unheard of. No human being's ever done that.
Ireland's Frank O'Mara is now comfortably running in fourth place. Johnny Gray setting a very, very quick pace here in the 1,500 meters.
Steve Scott buried back in the pack. Tim Hacker from the United States is also back in that group. There you see the comfortable strides of Steve Cram, #1 ranked in the world last year, a 3:46 miler. Gonzalez holding on. Gonzalez has good speed, but not the great sprint speed that Cram can elevate himself to in 2 strides.
Johnny Gray continues to try and hold on, and now he will begin to drop away as Great Britain's Steve Cram. Johnny Gray has dropped out, and we are on the bell lap. It is Cram and Jose Luis Gonzalez in second place.
Jim Spivey was in third. Steve Scott was behind him in fourth.
But nobody's going to catch the front runners. It is Cram and Gonzalez. The question at this point as they head down the backstretch is, does Gonzalez have enough to kick Cram? I don't believe he will there.
Cram seems to be moving away ever so slightly. Gonzalez struggling to hold the speed that he's showing here. Look at the speed begin to build on Cram.
Cram is really beginning to lengthen that lead as he heads into the final turn, looks over his left shoulder, sees where Gonzalez is. The elapsed time in the lower right-hand portion of your screen, the world record in the lower left. It is Cram.
50 meters to go, Phil. Gonzalez looks around, a sign of defeat.
And Cram across the finish line, unofficially, 3:31.43. And if that stands, that is Cram's personal best this year. Likewise, Jose Pietro Manea, 19.72, that world record established 8 years ago. As you look down the lane assignments, Larry Rawson, where in the world is Carl Lewis?
Well, they put out an all-points bulletin for him, but he never made it in time here, and I guess we'll have to find out at a later date. I think Lewis is in great shape, though. We'll see what happens in a week or so.
But those who are here, lane 3, Calvin Smith, Floyd Hurd, also a force to be reckoned with tonight, as is Robson da Silva, and certainly Canada's Atlee Mahorn.
Thomas Jefferson in lane 2. That is the Olympic bronze medalist at this distance, 200 meters. Calvin Smith from Bolton, Mississippi, has had an illustrious career in the United States as a sprinter. Olympic gold medalist at 4x100. There you see Floyd Hurd, the youngest man ever to rank #1 in the world at 200 meters. He's just a college student going into his junior year. John Regis from Great Britain will have lane 5. From Brazil, Robson da Silva is in lane 6, a good lane to be in on the outside. The turns are more gentle out there. Canada's Atlee Mahorn is in 7.
It is a good start for Calvin Smith. He is the defending champion. Calvin Smith and Brazil's Robson da Silva, the World Cup champion. In 1985, it is lane 3, Calvin Smith, and he is pouring it on. Calvin Smith and Robson da Silva, and it is Smith. I'm not sure if it was da Silva or Floyd Hurd who captured second place. A photo finish for second.
Phil, I really think it was da Silva who got up there and nailed him. I think Floyd was surprised when he looked over to his right there on that. I saw him just look over before the finish line like, who is this guy coming up on me? 20 and 10/100ths of a second. Only Carl Lewis has run faster this year as we watch the replay. Smith, the notoriously slow starter, gets out fairly well. He runs the turns very, very well. Looking at making up distance on Hurd already. He really has a very fine top speed for a guy who's just almost 5'10". He's really 5'9" and a fraction, but he can really motor for a guy who's not 6'2", and he really has had a great career, particularly at 200 meters, even though he's the world record holder for 100. Watch on the left in white, that is da Silva coming up to nail down second place from Floyd Hurd, as the rest of the field trails by a good step or two.
A tremendous finish for Calvin Smith, a very experienced runner, but at times has had a problem peaking too late. He certainly did not have that problem in Zurich.
Look at the intensity. I love this camera work. Look at him peek over. Did you see that little peek? There it is again. You know, other athletes turn their head when they're less experienced. They look left, they look right, but here you just take a peek. Calvin Smith, second fastest time in the world this year. Floyd Hurd, the young man from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, takes third.
It was 4 years ago at the Worlds when Calvin Smith won this race. And now, with just a week prior to the 1987 Worlds, the question is Calvin... I'm in what a field on hand in Zurich.
We will have 5 Americans in the race. There you see Denise Walden, Floyd, Rose Monday in the field. Doina Malente, the Olympic gold medalist, is in this race. Claudette Gronendahl in lane 7, as will Julie Jenkins, who goes to Brigham Young, be in lane 7 as well. Romania's upcoming star, Matika Iuniatu, is in 8th. Kim Gallagher, an American Olympian and a finalist, was also in this race in lane 8, coming back from a series of injuries.
That is Denise Walton Floyd.
There you see right now, number 320, that's Rose Monday. Number 322 as they move across the track, that's Slobodanka Kolovic of Yugoslavia. Doina Malente, wearing number 335. Olympic champion, a teacher in Romania. 314, this is a young lady that bears watching. This is Ana Quiroga from Cuba. They have a very fine track team. She possesses fine speed. Number 317 is Matika Iuniatu. Number 318 is Kirsty Wade, a very good miler who also can run 800 meters, I would say, equally well. 319 is Claudette Gronendahl from formerly of the University of Oregon. 323 is Kim Gallagher.
We will be watching the Yugoslavian young lady, Slobodanka Kolovic. She has been astounding this year, shaving better than 3 seconds off her personal best here in 1987.
She has the fastest time run in the world this year. We're talking about Kolovic, which we'll pick out for you, number 322. She started in lane 3. She's run 156.5 for the 800-meter distance. Watch out here. Here's where you run into trouble with the crowded fields. As they close in, they run staggers only for the first full turn.
Delisa Walton-Floyd about midway back in the pack, just to the right center of your screen. A little elbowing going on there. Out in front, it is Claudette Gronendahl of the United States.
Rose Monday is running in second place for the Americans. That is Kolovic running in third. She's got the blue and red on in the top. Doina Malente and number 335 on her outside, the Olympic champion, moving up. There is no rabbit in this race. This is all serious running with no help from anybody.
Cuba's Ana Quiro, number 314 in the bright red, midway back on the outside, begins to make her move. But at the present time, it is still Claudette Gronendahl.
Gronendahl in the lead, and there's Kolovic, tops in the world on her outside right now, battling down the backstretch. Doina Malente's in third place.
Gronendahl running ever so smoothly, as is Rose Monday. But look on the extreme outside in the red and white as she begins to come along, the Cuban, Ana Quiro.
Phil, a sprinter's race with just 115 meters to go. Look how packed they are. Let's see who's got the sprint.
Quiro on the outside in the red and white, now running shoulder to shoulder with Slobodanka Kolovic.
That's the Olympic champion in third, trying to nail down those other two.
And it is Quiro of Cuba. Slobodanka Kolovic of Yugoslavia finishes second. And Romania's Doina Malente, the Olympic champion from Los Angeles, takes third.
This is an event that has been improving in track and field in the last year or two. We've seen many, many additional women getting under 2 minutes than we've ever had 5 years ago. On the inside on the right is Yugoslavia's Slobodanka Kolovic, who has run 156 this year. There's the Olympic champion in the yellow in the middle, trying to figure how to try and break between them. And there you see a young star, Ana Quiro, who is on the outside in red, who did not compete in the Pan American Games. Interestingly enough, they sent her over here for more seasoning, and she shows the speed necessary to run well in international competition here. They don't run her down. She gains on the Olympic champion she holds off, no less.
Well, we knew all about Slobodanka Kolovic coming into the Weltklasse tonight. We certainly knew about Doina Malente from her efforts in Los Angeles 3 years ago. We knew very little about the young Cuban, Ana Quiro. She is the winner.
Saw her in our competitions last year. We showed here in ESPN. There you see in lane 5, Stephanie Hightower, who just missed our Olympic team. Jackie Joyner-Kersee is in lane 4.
It is a talent-rich field. 6 ladies. 2 from America. 1 from West Germany, 1 from France, 1 from right here in Switzerland, and Aloysia Lopez of Cuba. There is Anne Picot of France.
Rita Hegli of Switzerland. By the way, it's amazing in this country how many different languages they speak. It depends on what border of the country lies near France, Germany, Italy, and so forth. Stephanie Hightower will be in lane 5. World indoor record holder at 60 yards is Hightower. The best times coming in are possessed by Hightower in lane 5, and watch Jackie Joyner in lane 4.
Jackie Joyner in the bright yellow, Stephanie Hightower in the red just to the left as you look on. It is Jackie Joyner-Kersee, the favorite to win the heptathlon next week at the World Championships. And it is Jackie who is the winner here tonight in the 100-meter hurdles.
That's amazing that you can face top talent in the world, and this is only one of 7 events you train for. You have to feel a little badly for Stephanie Hightower, who focuses on this. Joyner steps to the plate, and actually beats her. Watch coming out of the blocks. Good start by everyone. It's very even. Watch to the first hurdle. Most important thing is to get your steps down, get into a rhythm, and then try and exercise yourself as quickly as you can by splitting those hurdles.
Now it is Jackie over hurdle number 1 with Stephanie Hightower right on her heels. Now, Jackie, there is simply no question, Larry. She is really on a pace to perhaps equal or surpass her world record in the heptathlon.
She's extremely fit. She's showing her fitness level and her speed right here as she matches strides with Hightower, who has been consistently and arguably America's best over the last 7 or 8 years. It's the lean at the 6 as you see her. She tends to climb the hurdles a little bit and doesn't possess quite as much speed as the likes of Yordanka Donkova of Bulgaria and several other notable stars. They tend to get over those hurdles a little more quickly. They truly attack them. The Soviet bloc countries have great hurdles.
To the United States, set 3 years ago, 3:7.83. And keep your eyes on lanes 3 and 4. The Canadian team of Ben Johnson, Atlee Mahorn, Desai Williams, and Tony Sharp. And in lane 4, the Americans, Lee McRae, Lee McNeil, Harvey Glantz, and New Jersey's Dennis Mitchell.
Well, this is a kind of a makeup event. They just take the best talent here and see if they want to run relay races. America also has a team out in lane 6. They'll be wearing red probably. James Butler, Wallace Spearman, Floyd Hurd, and Calvin Smith. That's a pretty fine team in and of itself. That time that you saw, which is the world record, was set in the Olympic Games. Ben Johnson led off the Canadian team in the Olympics at 4x100. He's doing it here tonight. 3 of the Canadians out of 4 were on the Olympic team, so they have their competition right there in the Canadian operation.
Unquestionably one of the most exciting events in all of track. Ben Johnson with a good pass to Atlee Mahorn, likewise Lee McRae to Lee McNeil.
Look at McNeil pull away in red, just smoking Atlee Mahorn for Canada. The pass-off is even for the United States and Canada.
And look at Harvey Glantz go. Desai Williams of Canada is in lane 3. And the final pass, Glantz to Dennis Mitchell, Desai Williams to Tony Sharp, and here they come. Look at Tony Mitchell pour it on.
Ooh, what a leg by Dennis Mitchell, the young star who goes to school down in the state of Florida. Look at him, I couldn't believe that leg. Tony Sharp was a finalist in the men's 100 meters in the Olympics, and look what he did to him. Watch the stick pass here. Stick passing in this event is all important. The Russians are not as fast at 100 meters as the Americans, yet they frequently run as well as us because their stick passing is so superior. He gets the stick and he is easily, I'd say, 3 yards down. Look at the movement being made by Desai Williams to Tony Sharp, like, go get him, you got it made. And look at Mitchell start to just eat this guy alive. Look at the movement. Let's just watch this.
Tony Sharp must have felt he had that anchor leg in his hip pocket.
Oh, boy. You go out after that, Phil, and have a few beers. if you're Tony Sharp, your buddies will just pat you in the back and say, forget it. What a leg.
Now for the American winning team of Lee McRae, Lee McNeil, Harvey Glantz, and Dennis Mitchell, certainly a mixture of some of the old and some of the new. Dennis Mitchell, a sensational anchor leg.
That time is within 1/100th of being faster than any other 4x100 meter relay team has run in the world this year outside of American teams.
Watch number 4. That is Dennis Mitchell.
Harvey Glantz on the handoff.
He knows the kind of ground he's got to make up. He has Tony Sharp of Canada right in his sights. And when you talk about that Canadian team, Larry Rawson, 3 of the 4 on this team tonight were a member of Canada's 4x100 Olympic team in Los Angeles.
Only the Russians have run faster than what you see Dennis Mitchell finishing in this team as far as, again, teams outside the U.S.
Question is, why was Ben Johnson not running the anchor for Canada? Surprised.
Well, I don't have a definite answer for you, except that he has been traditionally leading off Canada's team, and it has been Sharp or Desai who has finished up the races for them, and they decided not to change the order.
Well, the order of finish, the United States team number 1, McRae, McNeil,
They passed 3,000 meters officially in 7:56. They passed 4,000 meters in 10:36.
And now Jack Buckner and Domingo Castro pass Kenya's Peter Koech.
Phil, imagine running a 4:15 mile, going out and running another 4:15 mile, then running a third mile at the same pace. That's what these men are doing. The pace has not abated. As you see, that's Doug Padilla, who has been lapped, is my guess out there, acting as a bit of a pacer here for Buckner. This might have been prearranged, is my guess. I don't know for a fact, but I can't imagine why Padilla is still in the race here if he's being lapped. But he is helping to pull Buckner along right now. Believe it or not, it helps to have somebody in front of you and actually break the wind, even though you're only moving at about 14 miles per hour. Look at Buckner, how strong he is. As he begins to lose Castro, Koech is fading, and the rest of the pack is back there. There's Tracy in the all-white.
We're on the bell lap. It is Great Britain's Jack Buckner running strong. In second place, Domingo Castro of Portugal and Peter Koech, who had probably a 70 or 80-yard lead halfway through this race, is running third.
I might add somebody we haven't seen yet because he's been way back in the pack. Eamon Coughlin is in the race and is running somewhere in 13th, 14th place right now. He is not having a good day.
What a kick! That is Jack Buckner. He is doing what Koech did early in this race. Really stepping it out. What a kick here. And the men's 5,000 meters as he heads into the front straightaway. And way back in second place is Portugal's Domingo Castro.
Boy, what a confidence builder.
Carl Lewis is running in the second semifinal. This is the first. Top 4 finishers will move through to the final later today. And it's a fair start, and Ben Johnson gets a great start, and Johnson is way out in front. Johnson pulling away, and remember, this is the semifinals. Now he'll coast down. Linford Christie will come on to finish second, and the roar of the crowd tells you that it looks as if Pier Francesco Pavoni of Italy will be in the top 4 and will move through to the finals. But Ben Johnson, an awesome display in the semifinals.
Ben Johnson's start was the fastest I've seen in this competition. Lee McRae in lane 3 is supposed to be the fastest starter in the world, but I think Ben Johnson, with his new start, he may be the fastest out of the blocks. Pavoni from Italy seemed to be hurt coming through, maybe pulled something. He qualified, but he's in trouble because he's got to come back in just a little bit of time and try to run in the finals. He's not faking it here.
An unofficial 10-16 into a slight headwind. And of course, as you can see at the end of this, Ben Johnson coasting in. Look at
Watch
that
him
leap.
just. If anything.
It's Johnson, Christie, and then Pavoni.
Watch Ben Johnson hop up. He pulls up his hands and just, boom, springs up. Look at that. And he is out of there. Boy, if he can keep that start in the finals, we're going to see quite a race. Ben Johnson, and again, very well coached. This is coaching that does this. He's got tons of talent, but he's also well coached.
And it's going to be a photo for 4th place. Lee McRae may be in there. We'll have to wait and see.
So, number 1 in the world, Ben Johnson cruises into the finals. We'll be back with the answer from Carl Lewis in his semi.
Again, of the Soviet Union is in 5. Chidi Imo of Nigeria is in 6. Antonatsov of Bulgaria in 7. The great Carl Lewis is in lane 8. The world record, Calvin Smith's 9.93. Carl Lewis in the first round running so well. It was an official 10.05, and that's a championship record, but he was pulling up at the end. He might have had a world record.
Not only that, Charlie, it was at sea level, and the current world record was set at altitude where it is easier to run. The air is thinner.
That black ribbon, of course, on his shirt in honor of his father, who passed away this spring. Carl Lewis in lane 8, top 4 finishers through to the final. And here's Lewis with a good start, but not a great start. And here comes Carl Lewis in lane 8, and Lewis is going to have to battle his way. Now he pulls out in front, and he crosses the finish line first with Raymond Stewart of Jamaica coming through behind him, and a 10.03. If that holds, he has another championship record, and he was coasting again.
Charlie, this race was deceptive because it was a great field. Raymond Stewart from Jamaica on the yellow in the right runs very well. Carl Lewis gets into gear about 50 meters out. Motors in. It looks like he's having a more difficult time, but that's because Stewart is running well too. Carl Lewis 10:03. We may see a world record in the final. He's going to have some trouble with Ben Johnson out of the blocks, but once he gets going, no one goes as fast as Carl Lewis. Look at this acceleration right there. Puts it in another gear. He has a gear above everybody else. And again, doesn't ease through this time. He wants to get to the final, 10:03.
And from the front, Carl Lewis, watch, aerodynamically, his hands are the finest in the business. Notice what he does with them, and he does that slicing through the air without tightening up his arms and his shoulders.
Been a factor today? No doubt about it. It's been swirling, it's in the face, it's at the tail, and then you have to really adjust where your takeoff point's going to be, how much speed you can use to the bar, and I think that's bothering a lot of the girls.
Well, here's a woman who might be troubled here. 6'4" is just about as high as she has cleared this year. She's been up to 6'5". This is Colleen Summer from the United States attempting 6'4". This is her third and final attempt.
Very easy clearance. She made a little stutter step a few feet before the bar, and that's because of the wind. They can feel themselves coming in too fast, maybe a little bit too slow, and they make the adjustment.
Dwight, as we look at the picture, the wind's been coming from the right part of the stadium to the left. Would that have helped her in that jump since she jumps off her right foot?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. But she's...
Bari is in lane 1 from West Germany. Schlusar of the Soviet Union. Pam Marshall of the United States is in 3. Silke Gladish of East Germany is in 4. Merlene Ottey of Jamaica is in 5. Isayinko of Canada is in 6, and she really looked good in the trials. Georgieva of Bulgaria is in 7. Alice Brown of the great star of the United States is in lane 8. That's Silke Gladish in 4 on the right. Merlene Ottey in 5, right in the middle of your picture. And Isayinko of Canada in lane 6.
And Charlie, all 3 of these women have gone under 11 seconds in the 100 meter this year, and that's a barrier that athletes love to break. So all these 3 women are running very well. Ottey from Jamaica in the middle lane has been consistently up under 11 seconds this year. She trains in America. She went to Nebraska. She lives in the United States, but she is Jamaican.
And it is Silke Gladish with a great start. She just explodes out of the blocks in lane 4. And it is Gladish, and pulling along with her is Merlene Ottey and Isayinko. And it looks as if Pam Marshall in lane 3 may have finished in 4th and moved through to the finals.
Silke Gladish seems like she just jumps out of the block right in the middle of your screen. Another key factor is that she has good body lean right there. You don't want to be straight up. You want your momentum to go forward. She has that all the way. Merlene's coming up slightly, but not enough to catch her at the finish line.
We'll take another look at Silke Gladish.
On the right of your screen, she's out very quickly. She's a short girl with stocky legs. She can get into a running pattern much quicker than the taller Merlene Ottey in the middle there. Look at her arms. That's a key in sprinting. You've got to use your arms. She uses them very well. She's relaxed. Even though she's sprinting all out, her shoulders are down, and that helped her, I think, run such a good time here.
And her time, 10:82, a great time. It is, though, wind-aided. Well, Everts is in lane 3. She's from East Germany. Diane Williams of the United States is in 4. Anelia Nuneva of Bulgaria is in 5. Nellie Coleman of Holland is in 6. Natalia Pumozhnikova of the Soviet Union is in 7. And Marlies Gurr of East Germany is in lane 8.
Let's watch Drexler start on the far right. She's really been working on this, and she's gotten a lot faster out of the block. She has an unusual looking start.
Drexler in lane 3. Diane Williams is next to her in the United States in 4. Nuneva of Bulgaria is in 5. And Drexler gets a terrible start. She is left in the blocks. It is Diane Williams. And now coming outside is Nuneva. And now here comes Heike Drexler. And Drexler, coming off with a terrible start, comes through to win the semifinal and move through.
Charlie, like I was saying earlier, she's got a new start, but you can tell she's all coiled down with her arms very bent here. That's unusual. But as we see here, she hesitates coming out of the blocks, and you cannot do that. Look how far back she is. Nunova in the middle of your screen with a red top and white shorts on. She led the world this year early in 10:86. She's out very quickly. But Diane Williams in between those two with all white on, she's making up some ground here. She had the bronze in Helsinki, but Heike Drexler, she passes everybody the last 30 meters and looked, I don't know if she thought it was a false start or what, but she was out slow. Nunova has a wonderful start. Here we go. Heike Drexler gets into full gear right here. Good arm swing. She keeps her arms low. Very
Zimmerman champion. He's in lane 2. Again, lane 1 is open.
Edwin should have no trouble in this heat, but he's still fun to watch because he's the best hurdler in history. He just goes over the barriers so well.
And already he begins to close the stagger on Martin Gillingham of Great Britain, who is in lane 3 just to his right.
Charlie, unlike some of the flat races where in the early rounds athletes back off, you can't really do that so much in the hurdles because if you do, it throws your steps off. So you have to run fairly hard every race. So he'll win this by a whole bunch, not because he's hot dogging, but because he has to. He doesn't want to throw himself off.
And again, the top 2 finishers will move through to the finals. Out in lane 5 from Nigeria is Henry Amike. And he is now drifting back to second place. And Edwin Moses will coast in, moving to the next round.
Edwin ran a low 48 race there. That's pretty fast for the early rounds. That would be the 4th or 5th best time in the world this year. But again, he has to run pretty fast because between each hurdle, they're all meted out. He runs the exact same distance on each stride. He's just fun to watch because technically he's the best person that's ever been in this event.
An unofficial 49.03 for Edwin.
For her 3rd attempt at 6 feet 5 inches. When we last were speaking to you, she had a very easy make at 6 feet 4 inches.
Right, she didn't look good on her earlier attempts either. Her 3rd and last attempt at 6 feet 5.
Larry, as you mentioned earlier, she's pretty much in over her head at 6 feet 5 this year. In the last couple of weeks inside of East Germany, she really hasn't had a lot of opportunities to compete outside of the country.
She was not rated among the top 50 high jumpers in the world last year. Here she is among the top 6 in the sport now.
Nice clearance at 6'6 1/4. That was her 2nd attempt. She may be in the medal hunt with that particular attempt. That was a very fine jump.
Suzanne Beyer over 6 feet 6 1/4 inches.
Very good control here, as do all the East Germans. Very nice height right on top of the bar.
And that is in 3.
Here, where the opposition really isn't that good,